Oh my goodness, that's so loud. What the fuck? Why is it I say it's up and then I immediately hear loud other people? What the fuck? No, that's spoilers.
It's okay, you can't understand it anyway.
For you. For you. I hear myself echoing like 4 times with how loud that was. Alright. February 23. How did the investigation go? Yesterday, Mr. Wright. I forgot to show Edgeworth a couple things. I lost some flavor text. Frankly, there are a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me. No matter what the outcome, I'm ready to accept my fate. Another one of these characters. It's the ace of the team. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes. A defense attorney should never believe their client. The defendant is called on trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Sky, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there's one decisive difference between you and her. That is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. First trial without a Fae helping me. No one's gonna bail me out of this one. None sisses. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. Also, Emma's here. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. Yeah, but you're not a Fae, so I don't care. Court time, 10 a.m. Court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Sky. Defense is big ready. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. It's been 2 months, but I haven't been in the courtroom since his trial. I hope that personal feelings will not be part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Sky has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. Suddenly I feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. Death sentence. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Star, to the stand. Cough up, Queen. Haven't I seen you somewhere? Ah, look. Caviar. You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. They're just really wolfing it down. For you, I have a fiesta bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir. Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name. Profession now. Me? The name is Angel Star. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Just please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to the court, I am a professional. What exactly does that mean? Until 2 years ago, Miss Angelstar was a special investigator with the police. There it is again, it's 2 years ago. Whoa. 2 years ago was when Goodman had a case with Lana Starr, when Marshall was a detective, when Angel Starr was also an investigator. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Aha! I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no see. Very well. You may continue with your description, Miss Starr. Who is this lady? If I might have the court's attention over here. Hey, look, we got a map. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for the visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor spaces, right? The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with this knife, and went to drive the body out. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. Plans added. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. Seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright? I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. Seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, but they talking about me? Do. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. Can I investigate this? Like, what is it even? You just look at it. Okay, I guess we just look at it. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I was sent something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition at work. Through the wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garage car. Well, that's already sus. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then she thrust the pointy tip directly of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend, how touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife, which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodman. So, how does it feel to be utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness. Do.
Hold it!
How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime, yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they are used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I found my dream job when I became an investigator, and if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired. To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, yeah, this seems legit. I was on my way to deliver lunch.
Hold it!
This boyfriend, he's the detective. Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend? You have several. Yes, this boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Care to join? The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with lunches, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot, in A block. It's up to on the second level, so you can see everything from there. That'll be the room with security sign on it. Incidentally, did you bring your lunch boxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I parked in B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. When I sensed something, perhaps it was my finely honed detective's intuition. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of a murder? It felt like, how would you say? Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Speaking of a detective's intuition, wasn't the victim Mr. Bruce Goodman also a detective? Yes, well, he was like a young cheese. A young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. Then it must be hard yellowed and sharp as a tack. Yeah, with the odor of an old cheese to match. Thanks, Emma. In any case, there, in a lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Saw the standing.
Hold it!
My garage car, do you mean? Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. But Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant? I saw her with from no further than 30 feet away. I'm certain it was her. 30 feet away, damn, that's pretty far. She's telling the truth, we're doomed! Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always nitpick. Witness, in your testimony, you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms, ergo. You are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me. I'll fry you like a fritter. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. That was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could cry plagiarism? I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. Oh, hey, she got a photo. A photograph? You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snapped. I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. Witness, why am I only seeing this photograph just now? You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. My boyfriend works in the photography division of the criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye. So what was the defendant doing at the time? Holding the knife.
Hold it!
Tell me more about this knife that the suspect is carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 4 inches long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are by nature well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. Sure, it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. But you can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So the defendant was holding a knife, and then what? Then stab.
Hold it!
Tell the court why you didn't try to stop the crime. You didn't see her raise the knife to strike, no? The defense has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment... The prosecutor brought the weapon, down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Stop referencing Monty Python. Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Don't smile like that. Alright. What do we got? We got Goodman's note, which we're not allowed to manipulate. It's once again a JPEG like the other objects. Or unlike the other object, okay. The autopsy report. Bruce Goodman, 36 male, February 21, between 4 and 5:30, loss of blood on a chest wound. Wound was caused by a 4.5-inch knife. Victim's note, called 518. Parking lot. So this is the car. And she saw it through the thing. Cell phone, badger, parking stuff. The weapon, no prints. Alright, what do we got to work with? Knew this day would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. Intuition. Through the fence, I saw it standing next to the car, holding a knife in the right hand, thrust it into Goodman's chest. What do we even... We pressed and got a bunch of other clues, like the picture and stuff. We got the picture, through the fence. And we got the plans. Okay. So on my way to deliver a lunchbox, my boyfriend sensed it. Through the fence, saw it next to the car, holding a knife in the right hand. Thrust it in. What do I even...
Hold it!
Oh, let's go down the list again. How'd you know? Twisted. Opinion. Big opinions. She was fired. That's all we got. On my way to deliver a lunchbox. Security room. Several. Can't join. Yeah. Security guard room is in the lot in A block. Second level, so you can see everything from there. Did you bring your lunchbox by car? I'm a visitor and I was in B block. Okay. Sensed it.
Hold it!
Goodman was a detective. Through the fence, I saw them standing next to the car. Edgeworth's car, also Edgeworth's knife. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. Certain. On the knife in her right hand. She does wear gloves, so there wouldn't be fingerprints.
Hold it!
Found with the knife the cat was carrying, 4 inches long. Thrust the tip of the knife into his chest. Does the autopsy say that? Loss of blood from chest wound. Okay, yes, it does. Time of death, 4 p.m. and 5:30. Okay, they didn't mention anything about time.
Hold it!
Why didn't you stop it? It was too late. Stabbed him. And we're back at the beginning. Okay, some highlights. What's the layout again? So A and B block are split by a fence. If you were going to leave B block, you'd go out the back. So I guess the thing to nitpick is why would you be delivering lunch boxes but then looking at A block, maybe?
Objection!
Nah, I don't. Oh, that's not right. Deliver lunch box. Through the wire fence, I saw the prosecutor staring. I mean, you can see through it because she got a photo. It does show A block. Note from the parking lot. Nine. Alright. Toolbox. Victim's blood, no prints. ID. I mean, she doesn't have a picture of the knife in her hand. And I don't see a knife in the photo. But is that enough of a contradiction? Like, this is after that moment, so...
Objection!
And you witnessed this. You saw Miss Sky stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at the photograph. That's the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Why is Miss Sky not holding a knife? Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. That had to be the weakest objection ever, Edgeworth. Yet, it was still stronger than your even ever feeble mind, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after.
Objection!
And how can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? But it's a black and white photo. Yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you just gonna sit there and take this kind of abuse? You got a better idea? Objection, we don't know what it is. That contradicts what the witness said in her testimony, namely that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems like it was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, you order seconds. Problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor's guy was cold, calculating, like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder.
Objection!
Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have this on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing these gloves. Unless it's part of the uniform, but I don't know that. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder, a serious offense, except all murders seem to be charged the same way with a death sentence, so who knows. Witness, add to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it.
Hold it!
What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves?
Objection!
The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. It's bad. Got them thinking this was all planned. She could prove this claim. The trial's already over. Got to think of a way to show that it wasn't premeditated. I mean, there's a okay, I'll go back to that line. Oh, whoops. Okay. No prints doesn't disprove it. The fact that Edgeworth just showed up, kind of weird, because then it would have been I planned to use Edgeworth's knife and I waited for him to show up and then I called the dude. It's kind of all, it's kind of weird. Let's see. Jobs prove it. Like, it was a 3-minute window. Why would you do that if you were planning not to get caught? It's kind of weird. Does have gloves. She got blood on the coat. Trunk memo. Loss of blood, single stab wound. I guess this is what proves it, because it happened in like 5 minutes, and that's kind of not premeditated. Unless we present the weapon itself, and it's like, why wouldn't she bring her own weapon? Like, this is Edward's knife. Why would it be premeditated if you didn't know that, like, he had a knife? Witness, do you know what this is? Are you trying to test me? I sell box lunches for a living, you know. That's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Edward's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, the red car, all belonged as prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, You stated that Lana Sky planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing the special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh. The knife just happened to be in the trunk of the car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're gonna plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Ugh. Order, order, order. Great, now the tide is turning in my favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Not really. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself to thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail. But this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah. The prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is the lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Sky, was murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution needs to prove. Nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do, she planned on killing him. It was planned. If it wasn't, why would she have been wearing? I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw and not what you thought. How dare you? My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? Deduction. Lana Sky intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge a knife in again and again. Well, there's the contradiction immediately. The victim was summoned to the police office and the prosecutor's office. It sounds premeditated, doesn't it? So if I ordered a pizza, does that mean that I premeditated eating that pizza? Okay. In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Alright. Said that, but you haven't told us how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie. I believe what she just said was merely a prelude to the story she was about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again. Rookie. Never interrupt the storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of an oven half-baked. Something's half-baked, alright, and it's you. Got him. Try not to confuse the defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intentions to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. Why'd you call him all the way there? You have no proof that Mrs. Scott called him there. You have no proof that she didn't. Mr. Edgeworth, thoughts? There's no record of a call made on the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's phone. She might have read him a letter. Come on, you could have tried public phone first, please. In any case, the victim came to the prosecutor's office where he was murdered. Sure, he had a reason to be there. Witness. Why do you think it was the suspect who summoned the victim that day? Sure, the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. What kind of grudge? Well, I wouldn't know that. Of course you don't. That's because she didn't have a grudge. Rookie. I have a lunchbox here. Oh, now what's inside? But how am I supposed to know? See, we agree there's a lunchbox here, but we don't know what's inside. Person's life is like a lunchbox with pretzels, don't you agree? Oh, I get it. That's why my lunch was so salty. This judge isn't very good with metaphors. The suspect had a grudge against Detective Goodman. Will you tell us your basis of this thinking? It's simple. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge a knife in again and again. A human machine? That's a contradiction.
Objection!
Please. Can't you find fault with something of substance, Mr. Wright? Note to self, Mr. Edgeworth's size smell like citrus fruit. Can you say again and again, how many times did you stab him exactly? We often say chop into 1,000 pieces, but we don't actually mean 1,000 pieces. What difference does it make if the deed is done? How come she's getting mad at me? Let's just say she stabbed him several times and leave it at that. Leave it at that. This is a murder case, people. Mr. Wright, you should speak up if you have an objection, you know. Miss Stars turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met. Challenging her abilities as a detective really set her off. The short wick burns out the fastest, it's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick will burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Alright, here we go. Autopsy. One wound, there you go.
Objection!
You say stabbed him again and again, but you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me again? Then I'll test you. Would my moss surprise? I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Star. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. Hey, Edgeworth is helping me. The autopsy report states that death was due to a loss of blood from one stab wound. Aha! You're right. Good show, Miss Edgeworth. What a hunk, he's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness. You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood on her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed him at least twice. And tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how gassy the whole scene was.
Hold it!
Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged at a moment's notice, I suppose. She's right. Miss Sky was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd you mistook that for blood splattered? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. Judge with a bib. That's like why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Got him. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on your chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on the matter. There was only one knife wound. Apparently, Miss Star isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. It's our chance. Miss Star turned out to be as short-tempered as she was. Alright. Red muffler is the picture. She's clearly not wearing it. Alright.
Objection!
Miss Star, I demand an explanation.
Objection!
The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. Edgeworth is just dunking on her, and, like, we're getting overruled by his, like, oh man, look how smart Edgeworth is, and we're just like, but I was calling it. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. And you proved it yourself with this photo. But that can't be. Only professional lunch lady could be so utterly clueless. Congratulations. Perhaps you finally found your true calling in life. Ah, harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chopped liver? But it was there, a scarf. No, not that, but something red, really. Well, now where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of her testimony. The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the sus. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. Quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah yes, when I arrested her, she mentioned muffler. That's what had me confused in the early testimony. Chief Prosecutor made it to escape, but against Angel Star, resistance is futile. Well, I already know the answer to this already. You're quite determined about that scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel Star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self, Mr. Wright is weak against poisonous snake bites. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. Very well, Mr. Wright, your cross-examination. Well, let's go down the list. And then bring up the fact that she was on the other side of the fence. How did you get around that fast?
Hold it!
Sus. So where is this partition on the floor plans? She means the wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her and explained her rights, and arrested her. You say quickly, were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Press. I'd like to see this on the floor plan just to be safe. The lunch lady car was a visitor. So you witnessed the murder from here. That would be about 30 feet from my car, from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing! The Coffin Queen lunch lady athlete, indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence, so she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high. So how did Miss Sky not get away? Alright.
Hold it!
Muffler. She mentioned muffler, what'd she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word. So, what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but someone else. Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. Her phone? She can't mean... By phone, do you mean the one discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately? My memory. It's like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. In the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. So she used her cell phone. Indeed. The emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? Should put that, add that in your testimony, of course. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. I saw it all, how she tried to phone the phone on the wall, but had to use her cell phone instead. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was gonna say the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. The chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. She picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. So she pulled out her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. And then I boldly grabbed her arm. The prosecutor hung up on her phone. And you saw her doing this. What is it, Mr. Wright? Sus.
Hold it!
She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a pate of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. Oil drum? There was an oil drum lying on the side of the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? Yep. Oh, the parking lot entrance. That's right. It doesn't make sense that she would run behind the partition of the oil drum to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more, though. So Miss Sky tried to run. Sorry, my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. Believe. Alright. I saw it all, and then we have to present the scene of, like, you can't see behind that wall. It's 6 feet tall.
Objection!
Bro. This is why you got fired as a detective, because you suck. Miss Starr, I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Sky.
Objection!
The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Edgeworth, you know that she's super biased. You even said, like, ignoring her opinions on prosecutors. In her first sentence. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed the crime from here. However, if that's true, you couldn't have possibly seen Miss Sky taking that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. The emergency phone was on the back side of the partition. If indeed you were in B block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Wow. I finally got to say something. Wow. Order, what is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. Okay.
Objection!
That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question. Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. I can't afford to be wrong. The witness lied about the order of events, what she saw, where she saw it. Miss Sky tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about that fact? Nothing. Therefore, it would be pointless for Miss Starr to lie about it. Pointless to lie, see? But say the witness did actually see Miss Starr using the phone. It would mean Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location.
Objection!
A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one.
Objection!
Before you call me my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question for our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All testimony you heard from now points in one direction. Place where Miss Starr witnessed the crime is the security room.
Take that!
It's the only place where she could have been. Security guard room. Indeed. The security room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. It's built on the second floor, so you can see the entire lot. She would have been able to see the emergency phone from there. But why there? There are many other places where she could have been. Seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime would be the back of the partition. The back of the partition is here. Remember in your testimony you said you brought up lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, right? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? To think that the tables could have been turned. Today a man has been the better of Miss Angel Starr. Witness, what have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better than lying. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Sky? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard room. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. This photograph tells all, so it was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. Question mark, where did the photo come from? What? If a witness is found to be lying, they're guilty of perjury, you know this. She knows this. She wouldn't risk that without good reason. Can you tell us the reason was, Mr. Wright? Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed the crime from the security guard room, but she lied and said she saw it from B block. Must make a vital difference, but what would change? It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? Distance from the crime, the difference in lighting, it is the angle of the view. It would mean that, like, you couldn't actually see the truck. The angle at which she saw the crime would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have sort of a more 3D view of the crime. And this is important why. Dang it. The difference in lighting. I guess it would be the distance. Change the distance between her and the crime scene. My condolences, Mr. Wright, but one look at the floor plan is quite clear. The distance between this crime scene and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she could see.
Objection!
What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take for her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. How long did it take you to did it take you to get from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Sky? Well, witness, you. Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? Quality of my lunch has gone from low to inedible. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with my fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I was running towards the screen. But the door was locked, couldn't open it. Damn, she got to fucking go all the way around and then took the photo. That's why I had to go through the Visitor's Park in B-Block. That's quite a detour. That's like 90, that's like a billion feet. Probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was the woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. But like, why didn't you take a picture from the top? That's the thing that's weird in this situation. You have a point. The spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. So right, you have to do something. Yes.
Objection!
5 minutes between witnessing the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could have made pasta in that amount of time, if you like it al dente. I got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. 5 minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey, don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have instincts of a killer. You would run, but this time was different. This guy dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal would act this way. It's inconceivable. Yeah. Yeah. Well, then it seems to have come to the end of this testimony. Witness had a grudge against the defendant and a blank in her testimony. Miss Edgeworth is the next witness ready to go. Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it. We screwed that case shut. Can shut. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough of Queen has been dethroned, and with that, court is adjourned. Oh, someone objected. That was her. Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered squid wheels. That's the one she tried to foist on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask you, Miss Starr. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the lunch motto says, you won't be disappointed. What you gonna pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to match the matter of the victim's shoe, did I not bring this up? 2 types of blood were found on the shoe. One was the victim's, of course, and the other blood matched that of defendant Miss Lana Sky. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on the shoe? Try Lunchland. For all lunch and decisive evidence needs. Decisive and blah blah.
Objection!
Oh. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple, as I've already said. I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had blood tests performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You must know the 2 rules of evidence law. Rule 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal, at least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensic department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Wright. Mr. Edgeworth. Is that right, Mr. Wright? Seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You can at least study some evidence law, really. Prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. However, it seems you have yet another count against the witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine. We got a shoe. So what's the shoe look like? White enamel shoe bears traces of blood from Goodman and Lana Sky. Where? There. This blood, it's my sister's, right? Appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. Must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. But then we have step marks. There's blood here too on the sole of the shoe. It's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in a puddle of his own blood. All that blood, it's horrible. But might be an important clue. Well, yeah, it's kind of weird that it's been stepped on. Considering he, like, died in the trunk. Anyways.
Hold it!
Why'd you lie about those 5 minutes? I guess you could say I just wanted people to look at the results. Results? How many times do I have to say this? I saw the chief prosecutor stab the victim before my own very own eyes. Compared to that, a 5-minute blank means nothing. Then why didn't you just tell the truth? Don't make me laugh. We're dealing with the most untrustworthy of the vile lot known as prosecutors. Falsified evidence, arranged testimonies, erasing and manipulating evidence. When you fight monsters, you need to use every trick in the book. This when the suspect is admitting what she did it. But false testimony is the most despicable crime of all, Miss Starr. Let's just get this over with.
Hold it!
And you found the shoe at the scene of the crime. I detained the chief prosecutor and notified the police department. Wanted to make myself useful while I was waiting for the police to arrive. So like an ill-trained pooch, you snuck off with a shoe. I was afraid someone would erase the chief prosecutor's crime. This shoe was my secret weapon if that should happen. See this fashionable basket I have here? It carries more than lunchboxes, gentlemen. Happy for you and your lunchbox, really. Lunchbox bag. In any case, you removed valuable evidence from the scene of the crime. Now tell us what you did.
Hold it!
So you brought it to the forensics department. If you're going to submit something as evidence in court, you need it proved. To do that, evidence must be analyzed by a forensic expert. She got away with her little coup because she used to be a detective. She does appear to have blood stains. Well, the man was stabbed, after all. That blood belonged to Detective Goodman. Let's say there were 2 types of blood found on it. Other type matched that of the defendant, Lana Sky.
Hold it!
Can't say that for sure the blood belonged to the defendant with a blood test. You claim to know something about blood tests, rookie? Huh? Well, speak up. Oh, well, blood comes in 4 types, A, B, O, and AB. However, you can't tell from a blood test whether a murder was committed in cold blood. That's just a figure of speech, Mr. Wright. Actually, we could differentiate between millions of types of all blood tests out there. Which means that we can more or less narrow down a sample of blood down to just one person. Or so I hear. That's pretty specific. If I had a little more time, I would have gotten the DNA test results, but they said there's very little doubt it could be anyone but Miss Lana Skies. So the suspect's blood was found on the shoe. That ties her directly to the death of Detective Goodman. I was afraid he was going to say that. This shoe proves it. It's decisive.
Hold it!
Can't let this evidence go through without a fight. Your order of peppered fish guts, right? Some like it hot, Mr. Wright. Some like your client. She's in enough hot water to make a whole vat of soup. Do you or don't you have a problem with the shoe? Is there a problem with the shoe? There's a problem. I'm not imagining things. I'd say there's one critical problem with this evidence, a clear contradiction. That gleam in your eye. You're still young, rookie. I'd give you a peppered fish guts now, but you couldn't take the heat, could you? Let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say. What contradiction about the shoe? Show us. There's blood on the bottom. I wonder if you noticed. But there's blood on the bottom of the shoe. Don't mess with me, rookie. Or it'll be the blood, your blood on the bottom of my shoe. Indeed, there is quite a bit of blood on the bottom of the shoe. Makes sense. The victim was stabbed with a knife. What could possibly be contradictory about blood on the bottom of the shoe? Autopsy. Let's see. Wound is caused by a knife, single stab wound. Loss of blood from chest. I mean, the picture shows there's no blood on the floor, so they wouldn't have stepped in any blood. I wonder if that's what we're supposed to show. Problem is the footprint. The footprint. Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found by the scene of the crime? Aha! As you could see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. The contradiction you claim about that contradicts your claim about the shoe.
Objection!
This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints.
Objection!
Then where are they, Edgeworth? Because we checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness. What? Huh? There you go, Mr. Wright. But, it's true that the lack of footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright. I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped up. There is one vital hint to the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. Tried in vain. She knocked my hand aside, kicked the oil drum. She's beautiful. Predator. Rawr. Rawr. I thought that was a strange thing for a normally cool-headed detective to do. Now, witness, allow me to ask you a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that, huh? Not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth. Well, apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunch factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? The oil drum kicked over by the prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? Still don't get it, Mr. Wright. Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over the oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would have been evidence against her. Wow. That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite cheekily to the crime. The murder. Then after the deed was done, she knocked over an oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, there's a prosecutor's specialty, erasing evidence. That reminds me, Miss Sky's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she'd cut herself when she stabbed him? So that's when my sister's blood got on the shoe? Well, see no reason to prolong this trial. Let's try to do something, please. What? What can I do? Your sister's confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. Enough. There's no need for further debate, the verdict, Your Honor. But Angel Star is on the prosecution's side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Sky. Oh shit, someone's holding it. Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing that bloody footprint. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox, a lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else.
Objection!
The time for deliberations has passed. Any further comments and you will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare me, scare the cough-up queen. Look at this! Hey look, it's a photograph of the inside of the car, a dead body. Photograph. I had it just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no reason for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright, wait. Look at that photo. There's something weird. Hey, it's clearly wet. Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind, immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. Sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help it after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case in the beginning. And it seems that this is what your sister wanted anyway. Did you catch the clue? It flashed real quick. I'm sorry, Mia. Right, wet or not, don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself up off the asphalt, take another good look. Don't give up, not until the bitter end. Thanks, Ghost Mia. I guess I'm just developing psychic powers, because I exist near all the phase. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good.
Objection!
Nah, it's me this time. It's me, for realsies. Your Honor, wait. What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is. Can I wait? No, we can't. Then I'll be too late. Look at this photograph, the last one submitted. The trial isn't over until we give each piece of evidence proper consideration. So right. Are you saying there's a problem with the latest piece of evidence? Yeah. There's a problem. Suppose since we've come this far, we should give everyone every claim a fair shake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Where is it? Where could it be? Does anyone see it? It's so clear. It's so clear. Remember what the words she was whispering to herself were? I was waiting for an actual answer. She was saying muffler. As in a car muffler.
Take that!
The problem in his photograph is here. There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor. You just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or scarf in this kind of photo. Muffler is also part of a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as a part of exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious looking cloth sticking out of the car's muffler? So what if there's something sticking out of the muffler? What does that have to do with the case? Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Star, but it's not that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to the case. You said it as much in your testimony. What? Let's hear Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright has said in mind. Why do you think this piece of cloth is in relation to, is related to the case? Do we have the testimony? Oh, right, the cell phone, right.
Take that!
Miss Star, recall your testimony to the court. Muffler. Muffler. Yeah. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Oh. Wah, rah, rah, rah. Now we have to hold up court to get this evidence. Seems we have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? Find myself wondering about this piece of cloth. If we have any questions unanswered, then we do disservice to law. Have the car at the crime scene, inspect it at once, and bring me that cloth. How did no one see that? Like, I can't see it because I don't see in 3D, but the people, the police officers and whatnot would see it. Especially with the angle of the picture. Like, it's clearly there. Verdict will have to wait until we've seen all evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. That was close, but we made it, at least for now. This court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime, after all. He's still hungry. How you holding up? Okay. Guess we'll hang it on the BRB screen. Alright, well that's a good place to end then. Boop, 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 boop.